You are watching UCU Focus TV.
Good morning, our dear viewers. Welcome to the Focus Personality. My name is Carlton Blessed Jakana, and I'm going to be your host for today. But before we go any further and dive deep right into it, I want to introduce to you two certain gentlemen that are with me this morning, and I want them to introduce themselves to you. Please speak to us, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Carlton. The names is Tandekwa Richard, a third law student, pursuing Bachelor of Laws, and as well aspiring for President's Law Society.
Good morning. I'm glad to be here. My name is Khalid Nawaf, a student of law in my third year, and I am pursuing leadership in this university.
Oh, wonderful. Nice to hear from both of them. I thought they would begin by introducing themselves and saying LLB3. Tell me about the LLB thing. Everyone I find at school doing law, they say LLB3, LLB2. I don't even know what LLB means myself. Yes, now.
Okay. So LLB is in full, it's legum, but the curious, it's a Latin word. It's a Latin word to mean Bachelor of Laws. Legum is sort of a plural form. It's a plural form to mean laws. And then bacillus it means bachelor, so Bachelor of Laws. So LLB, it's a Latin term that is used to mean Bachelor of Laws.
Yeah. So it would be fair enough for me to say now know some Greek, huh?
Very much so.
For our dearest viewers who are watching right now, I know very many people have heard of the Law Society, most especially us who are in UCU currently. We've been hearing about it going on for weeks and weeks, months and months, building up the hype, telling us about the presidency, the secretariat, the financing team, posters have been all over the school. I want you to give my viewers a miniature picture of what Law Society is. What does Law Society mean, what are its roles? What are its functions in UCU? Richard.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Carlton.
Yes.
So, for now, what I can assure is that the Law Society, the reason why it was created here at the university, it was created in 1997.
Yes.
So, they wanted, in case lawyers really have the values of Christianity, and they embed it into that law society or that law profession, it would really create a good image outside. So that is why we have the profession of law here at the university. And the fact that we are following the core values of Uganda Christian University, it is really helping us to produce quality students that have morals in Christianity. So that is what I can share. The importance behind it, the reason why you have a law society here, is that it really gives image of law students. Because if you come here and there is a law society, it really hopes law students to evolve in it, then have a wide ideas outside.
To you, Nawaf, I want you to sort of explain to my viewer here some of the benefits that come with Law Society, because I believe most of the people that are very eager to vote you people, most of the people that you want to reach out to understand your aim and the goal that you have, must be able to see its benefit, must be able to see the value that it's bringing to society, the things they're adding on to the society. What are some of the things that you find core or the fundamentals that are quite valuable and pertinent with Law Society, the benefits it brings to you as law students?
Thank you, Carlton. Thank you. He gave a very good introduction and background of how we have law generally. We have law school now in Uganda. We have people practicing law and how it's coming about. Now, specifically Law Society. What is the Law Society, first of all? What does it mean to have a law society? What is the UCU Law Society, to be more specific? What does it do? How do students benefit from it?
Yes.
Well, we have so many societies, and it's just like any other. We have the business society, we have the social work society, but now I'm looking at the law society specifically. So now, the Law Society is a registered society under the UCU administration, and the whole point, the whole idea behind the Law Society, ideally, in a layman's understanding, would be to be there for students, student leaders being there for their fellow students, bridging the gap between the students and the administration, specifically the faculty or school of law.
That's important.
Yes. most cases, students have grievances. Students have things they would want to work on. Students have ideas they would want to pitch. Students have things they want to achieve. But sometimes the policies do not favor them. Yeah. So some of the benefits of being in the Law Society, or what the Law Society does, is that it gives students that platform. It gives students that chance, that opportunity to say, okay, we're having this and this challenge. Okay, let's pitch it to the administration, and let the administration give us their feedback.
Yes.
In most cases, it works depending on the circumstances or prevailing situation.
Yes.
But if we have a student who understands a fellow student's grievance and they pitch the problem to the administration, then the administration puts into context what the students are going through, and then they're able to work on it. There's so many challenges that the students face. Yeah, I mean, and these are normal challenges any student faces in any institution. I mean, the same missing marks issues, the same financial or tuition challenges, the same, mobilization and coordination and communication between lecturer student.
Yes.
So that is what the Law Society comes in to bridge. That is what the Law Society comes in to curb. Okay, if we have, let me say, students are complaining about a certain policy, let me say a coursework policy. Students are not going to run all the way to the administration and say, no, we don't want this. No.
Yes.
But they have leaders. That is what the society is there for. That is what the president is there for. That is what the vice president is there for. That is what the academic secretary is there for. If it's tuition, that is what the finance office is there for. Okay, let's do something. Let's try to raise tuition. Let's create a tuition fund. Let's establish this tuition fund. I'll get approval from the administration and distribute the money equally among the students who are suffering financially. So these are the things that the Law Society does, largely being there for students, helping them, guiding them, being available to them, availing ourselves as leaders, being there and guiding them and helping them in whatever way we can. That is what the Law Society does.
Thank you, Nawaf. Two things I hear when you're speaking. One is systems, that in order for you to bridge the gap between all the challenges that you tend to face frequently, you need the leaders. That is why we have the vice president, the president, the people working in finance. So in order for the Law Society to function well, we need sort of a system to work with, because I like the sense of order that students cannot just run and begin rioting or run and begin venting, but we need a leader who's able to understand the situation, who's able to read the history, and who's able to sort of tell the future, know what we are talking about, and then present the issue to be able to find a solution to curb. Richard, talk to me about the tuition.
Thank you so much, Carlton. What I can say about tuition is that really it has been a big challenge here. And we have seen certain students fail to graduate. Fail fourth years, failing to graduate real. And even some of our fellows like year twos, year ones, keeping on making a dead year, keeping on, even running away from law school. You see, we started when we were like something like 500, but by now I can assure you that we have reduced even to either like 400 or 300. Reason why? Some students are running out of tuition, which is really a big challenge. We have seen people really, I don't know how I can call it, but really a tuition here is really a big challenge. And then, according to me, the fact that I'm aspiring, I have the ideas that really can help us solve the challenge of tuition. So one of the ideas that had gone through and actually marinated through to see whether I can solve them is the idea of making an alumni sessions. In case you call these alumni, can they contribute something? Yes. Recently I was in touch with the president, alumni, Wawir Emmanuel. I told him about the same idea. He really told me that the fact that literally we students, we pay little money to the alumni in our fees. They're able to at least contribute something in line with our tuition. So they are going at least, I'd requested him to schedule a certain day before the semester ends, see whether literally we can have that session where we can be able to collect that tuition to help our students from fourth years graduate. And even we year threes and even year twos or year ones. That one has been an addition to what the previous government has done.
I like the fact that you talk about history and you bring in the different people that have been able to impact the Law Society in a certain way. And that is where I want to also pose another question before we move to you, Nawaf. the thing is, I've watched your history. I've been at least an ardent reader, a bit to understand some of the things of law society. And one of the things that I pick out is that there was a president for Law Society, Elizabeth Tumwebaza, if I'm right. And when you watch her regime all the time she was in power, and you study it closely and neatly, you tend to understand that in that time we had campaigns that were able to bridge the gap when it comes to fees, because students were having a lot of fees balances, and at the end of the day you come to graduation and your fees balance is big because tuition is high for law students. So there were campaigns, but there was a lot of good progress with her regime if you study it closely. Those campaigns were effective. Things started to work out. They were able to raise some money, the 2K campaigns. That's where all these campaigns are birthed from my own knowledge and understanding. So for you personally, Richard, when we look at Elizabeth Tumwebaza and we study her closely, and then we look at you, what are some of those things that you have? You said you have an idea and you've been able to develop something. What is that idea you have that you can promise your voter who's listening to you right now that you're going to be able to execute it? Because most of the challenge that we face with leaders is that they're quite convincing. We're going to achieve this, we're going to make this happen. But when they get into power, it's very hard to see results. So what is that idea that is going to make results inevitable as soon as you sit in that seat of power?
You have related to Madame Liz, whom we called Tumwebaza, according to her government. It's really good, a good thing. But as a leader, I feel there are some things that have been left out, which I really need to execute. And which are those things? Those things are really embedded in my manifesto, which I'm going to tell you right now. One of the things that I've witnessed here, there is a challenge of internship programs. I told you that before I started aspiring, I tried bridging the gaps. How can we try to collect funds to help us all, other than helping a specific group? I tried reaching to the alumni president, asking him, the fact that you completed from here, and you also knew the challenges of tuition that were at the university, can't you really make a session where you can have you guys come at a university, maybe inviting other people that completed from here, not specifically the people that completed here being law, but even other courses, see whether we can really take part at the university course, collecting tuition for our colleagues, see whether we can really allot it to our fellows, like either fourth years, second years, and other classes, so that Richard can help us in general, other than helping a specific group. So that is the idea that I told him, and really bought it, and as well delivered us the same idea to the faculty, which I believe was honored. So that is how I'm going to solve the challenge of tuition.
Okay, thank you, Richard. We, the media, one of our aims and responsibility is to keep the people in power accountable, and when we look through your history and we start to see why certain things are failing and why certain things are progressing, the challenge is that with your mentorship, there is lack of accountability. With mentorship that has been happening in the law society, there's been a lack of accountability. I know that for someone to be part of the law society, they have to pay about 50,000 Ugandan shillings. But the issue is we're having issues with receipts. We're having issues with achieving that mentorship. And I know that when it comes to law, you need at least to be mentored right, because of course you cannot have two blind men leading each other. One man needs to be able to see to lead the what? To lead the blind man. And when we look at Nawaf's experience, he's talking about being mentored. So what can you say about mentorship, and what is your idea and opinion and stand on mentorship in law society? Because I believe this is one of the pertinent cries that your voters are having.
Thank you so much, Carlton. I want to begin by, you talked about a point of accountability.
Yes.
Accountability, which is really a good idea. So, by the time we came in now, the amount of subscription was a bit low compared to the amount that it is now. So, what was the reason of its increment? Or what's the basis of its increment? I want to show you that they increased this amount, or maybe to help them fund the law society. But then they are forgetting that there are students that can't afford that amount. When we were subscribing for a person to apply for this position, we paid 140,000
to apply for this position.
to apply for this position.
That you're standing for right now.
Yes. So in case you add 140,000 plus 50,000, it makes something like 190 with the 200.
Yes.
So you'll find that really how many can afford to subscribe to this amount or to. I feel very many have passion, but it's not that they don't want to apply to it, but it's the amount.
Yes.
So I have an idea of reducing it. Maybe we can look for other ways of correcting this amount, to helping funding our association, but giving a priority to the young ones, to other people to apply. Because I don't think whether someone can pay 130, and even some of them fail to go through, or through vetting, or through anything. So which is really bad. But in case at least they would pay a little of it, to help them maybe try their luck to see whether they can contest for any position. It would really be a good initiative. Then I'm coming back to the issue of receipts. The issue of receipts, I reached the president, who is Asaf Elipa now. So he was of a view that I introduced him my idea. I told him that why don't we create an app, just like you see Alpha. In case you pay, you just get a receipt through that app. Maybe you go to the printer, you print it out, you present it, other than waiting for this receipt that in case you pay, you're given a receipt. Because people may not be around, or either you may pay and it takes centuries to get a receipt. But in case we come up with that app, you pay, after paying, the receipt comes. Just like you pay in the bank, and then you're given a receipt there and then.
So have you spoken to any app developers?
I talked to the president, who is Asaf El now, and then
the Law Society?
For the Law Society now, who is the president now. So we went to the MIS. We told them about the same idea, and they
your idea.
Yes. So they told us that really it would be a good initiative. So we are planning to create that app. Not later than
is
this
this app
semester.
going to cost you any money, or they're doing it for free?
Of course, we need to plan about it. We need to plan about
You
it.
need to plan about
yes,
it.
Yes, yes.
So for you as incoming president, as someone who aspires to be president for the Law Society, we're already talking tuition issues. We're already talking internship issues, yeah? And now we're talking mentorship, and you want to build an app for accountability, which is a very good idea. So my question now would be, what idea are you having that is going to be able to raise those funds? Because when you're developing an app, you need those funds to be able to run. And we see that the main challenge here is finances. So where are you getting that money from? What idea do you have to be able to raise those funds and build that app?
Just like I told you, the Law Society, it is something like a subset. And we always have a mother set. A mother set is the Uganda Law Society, headed by Bernard Owondo. So the fact that the Law Society here is a subset of the mother set, we can reach to the mother set. We tell him about the same idea. Don't you think the mother set can do something? It can really contribute to any funds that we would wish to get. That is one way how we can get those funds. Then another thing how we can get those funds. I want to assure you that there are very many alumni that went through this society. If we can reach those alumni, just like I told you that I'm planning to bring them here, in case we introduce that same idea to them, it would really be a good initiative for them to contribute towards the cause of that accountability or that funding of the Law Society specifically. So then I'm coming back to you asked me about accountability, asked me about mentorship. So mentorship, it is one of my ideas in the manifesto. I reached the faculty. I told them that at least before this semester ends, I request that we make what I came up with, like something like a law school week. A law school week, where we call all alumni people and plus other successful lawyers, so whether they can take part in the course. Through taking part in the course, we law students, even young ones, we can take part through their interactions, asking them questions, requesting them to be our mentors, and even inquiring for the things that we don't know, which is really good. So I don't think whether there is other than mentorship exceeding that, because mentorship is just getting close to someone that has been higher than you, or either a person that has been so successful.
Yes.
So if those people really come here, you're telling me that really our interaction with them is not that mentorship, it is really good. So that is all that I heard about mentorship.
For Nawaf, I know that you carry first-hand experience from mentorship. Say a thing or two about it.
Mentorship is a really, really, really important for a lawyer, especially a law student. Because, I mean, sometimes you get confused. You get confused and you just don't know. There are many branches of law. There's so many branches of law. And sometimes you sit in and you're like, okay, I have criminal law, I have commercial law, I have sports law, I have AI, I have, all these things, tech law, and sometimes you're confused. Sometimes you don't know what to do. And then sometimes you're like, okay, should I go to practice? Should I be an in-house counsel? Should I be, a legal practitioner? Should I go into litigation? Should I do maybe draftsmanship? I mean, sometimes as a law student, you really have all these ideas and you just don't know what's good for you and you're scared. So what happens is that if you have a mentor, you're able to get guidance. I mean, a mentor is there, largely guidance, to be there for you, tell you, okay, in the field, this is how it is. And I'm talking of mentorship in the aspect of advocate-student. I'm not talking of mentorship in the context of student-student.
Yes.
No, I'm talking of student-student because we are all students. So I really don't believe in the idea of student-student mentorship. I believe in the idea of student-advocate mentorship. Because, I mean, an advocate who is already there has the experience, has the knowledge, knows what to tell you. I mean, and when you get the information from them, it's trusted information. You can rely on it. It's reliable, and because I mean, experience is invaluable. It's something you can never buy. You can never buy time. The amount of time the years they've gone through law school, the years they've spent in practice, the things they've gone through, the things they've learned. So I believe you need that as a law student. We need it as law students.
Yes.
And my idea in regard to mentorship, I mean, it's largely advocate-student. So if we can have channeling in a stream where 150, each student has an advocate. 2 students could have 1 advocate, or even 3. 1 advocate could mentor 3 students. That way I think students are guided, students know what to do, students, it even opens opportunities for them. Because, I mean, right now I could sit and say, maybe I know a lawyer somewhere called Tumukunde Tony. He's my mentor. After school, maybe he could be the one to give me an opportunity. He could be the one to put me up somewhere, link me up, mention my room in a meeting room or something. I mean, it's really invaluable and it's really important to have mentorship, and that's how I'm looking forward to handling the aspect of mentorship, student advocate. And I believe that the faculty is really willing to support students' interests.
I want to ask one more last question and we bring this to a close. Let's talk about inclusion. There are very many law students that don't even know about the Law Society. There are very many law students that may know about the Law Society but are not ascribed to the Law Society. And yet this is something that was developed for them, for their use, for their benefit. So how are you guys going to be able to include students in academic activities and co-curricular activities? Speak to your voter and tell them your mind and your opinion and your idea and aim of how you plan on achieving that goal. I know, Richard, you've just spoken, so maybe we can do Nawaf and then I'll come to you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Nawaf.
Thank you, Carlton. The idea of inclusivity or inclusion, I choose to believe it moves hand in hand with unity and lifelong bonds between students. When I was coming up with my agenda, I looked at tenets, something called tenets. And these tenets are what hold my agenda up. They are the pillars of my agenda. They are the pillars of my vision. And among them is unity and inclusivity. So I made sure my ideas are channeled towards my objectives. my ideas are channeled and they reflect the tenets that I have. So let me give you an example that I already spoke about, the idea of a tuition run. If we have students, all of them participating in this tuition run, it brings in a sense of unity among students, bringing a sense of inclusion. I mean, it is immaterial whether a student paid subscription fee or not. The run is for law students, it's for law schools to help our friends who are struggling financially. I mean, if we have all these students participating in a run, ideally, it creates that sense of we have a society, we are law students, and we are there for one another. So that is one example of the objectives that I have that reflect the aspect of inclusivity. And the other one still could be the trade expo that I talked about. If you could have the trade expo, law students showcase their side ventures, they showcase their side hustles, and I mean, we become aware of the fact that we have our classmates who have side hustles and we support them, and we be there for them. I mean, that also brings in the idea of, you know, creating that bond between students, knowing, oh, maybe Carlton is in my class, he's a law student, but maybe he deals in watches. Yeah, on that day I'll be there to support Carlton. I'll go and maybe buy a watch or maybe buy a dress or something just for him. So those are things that I try to put in line that reflect the pillars that I have. They reflect, okay, just to clear the air. My agenda is divided into 4. That's why I keep saying tenets, objectives, tenets, objectives. So I have a theme. My theme comes from the Bible, Galatians chapter 6, verse 9. And I have tenets. The tenets are the pillars on which my agenda stands. And I have objectives. Then the last part, I have a work plan on how I'm going to achieve those objectives. So my tenets, like I said, unity, inclusivity, progress, impact, accountability. Then my objectives are what reflect those tenets, because those tenets are what hold up my agenda. So the things like the tuition run bring students together. Things like the trade expo bring students together. Things like the gala having an end goal, the gala being there to help students. We play, we have fun, we create bonds, we make friends, we be there for one another, but there's an end goal, helping someone graduate. I believe those are things that reflect the aspect of unity and inclusivity among students. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Richard, my question is about inclusivity. How are you going to get the students on board in academic activities and co-curricular activities?
Wow. I want to assure you that when we just do our profession without, okay, all of us may be doing law, but it's practical thing, it's practical, but it's not included when you're still young. It will really be a difficulty in the future. So the people that really got the idea of introducing the law society in Uganda, it came into existence in 1970s by the people like the Kanye Hamba and Justice Odochi that had gotten education outside. So when they came in, they said that, okay, they came up with the idea, in case students start learning law, how can they really be together? How can they all work together through the law society? So they came up with the idea of law society. So here, what can we literally... So when they came up with the idea, they also came up with an idea of a legal clinic where it would really teach these young lawyers to get exposed to mere future practical law. So when coming up with this idea, it really helped law students. So I want to assure you that the law students here, they have not been involved in this practical part, but we are just learning law.
Yes.
So in case we come up with this legal clinic, a legal clinic helps us law students, we young lawyers, to involve in the practical bit. Like learning how to draft documents, learning how to file documents, learning how to serve court documents, meaning that you're getting exposed to civil procedure laws, which is a constituent in fourth year. It is really hectic in case you can ask any fourth year. In case they tell them that there is a test of civil procedure, you find them making sleepless nights, which is really bad. But in case you get exposed to it right now, learn how to draft your documents, serving court documents, filing, and I'll show you that in case you reach fourth year, you no longer be an expert, but above expert. So this is how every law student can involve in it, starting from year one. Because for now, when I started my internship, I started it after year one. But when I went to the law firm, they told me, which are you? told them I've just completed year one. But they said, can you do anything? Because anything that you see, it's just practical. So meaning that you cannot do anything. So just go back. I said, please, let me do anything that I can manage. Allow me, teach me, let me get to expose it. So they gave me documents. The documents that told me to draft were documents of fourth year. So I had to reach my mentors from fourth years to see whether they would really help me draft these documents, getting exposed to procedure. So for now I can assure that I know how to draft a document. So in case that idea would really be introduced here, those students, young ones, year ones, get exposed to drafting these documents. I'd assure that you, I don't know how actually I can call it, but it will be producing quality lawyers in the near future.
Thank you so much, Richard. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been the focus personality for you today. I've been hosting the show, and I had Nawaf here and Richard with me, two candidates standing for presidency, Law Society. I hope the people doing law, they've been able to answer your questions, and I hope they've been able to compel you enough to vote on Thursday next week. See you. Thank you so much.
You are watching UCU Focus TV.